Say goodbye to your camera shyness. What's up, guys? Tony over here. In today's video I'm going to be talking about 5 simple steps in order to overcome camera shyness, right? So step number 1 would be recognize that it's completely normal, to feel uncomfortable when talking in front and to a camera, right? So why is this completely normal? Well, simple, because it's against our nature as human beings. We're used to talking to other people, to other persons you're in person, you're face to face, and we're used to getting constant feedback from them. The way they react to what we say, the things they respond when we're talking, the gestures they make, the expressions they make. This constant feedback is normal, and it's something that we're used to when talking to someone, right? None of this happens when we talk to a camera or when we talk in front of a camera. Why? Because we don't get that reaction, we don't get that response, we don't get those gestures or expressions from a camera, right? We don't get that from a machine, we don't get that from an apparatus, we don't get that from a lens that we're speaking to, right? We just don't get that, and we cannot see how other people that are watching us are reacting to what we're saying. So of course that's quite unsettling for us as humans, right? Because we don't really know how other people are reacting, right? So again, you need to recognize that this is completely normal. And 2 things come into play that also makes it uncomfortable, right? First off, public speaking anxiety and stage fright. Stage fright as in not having that fear of not living up to your audience's expectations. This is completely normal, actually. To just tell you a quick story, when I was in high school, I had in one occasion, well, a couple of occasions actually, but the first time that I had to perform in front of my whole high school, we were around 500 kids at the time. I do remember that I was a bit nervous right before getting on stage, right? Actually, I remember that I had to go to the bathroom and I had to pee a little bit, and once I did, and got out and just got on stage and started doing my thing. I started singing because I had to sing. I was like the main focus of the main point of attention. This performance, because I was singing and moving around. I remember that just before getting up stage, I got quite nervous and a bit anxious, right? But once I got up there and I started, getting into my thing and getting into, the whole feeling and the whole song that I was singing and just moving around and enjoying it, I got over that. I got over that shyness and I just did my thing. And, where I go with this is that it's completely normal to feel uncomfortable, to feel nervous, to feel anxious, right before getting on stage. Same thing goes for a video. It's completely normal to feel like that right before recording a video. So just recognize that, and recognize it so that you can be conscious of what you're going to face when you're about to record a video, right? So that's step number 1. Step number 2 would be perfect practice makes almost perfect. Now, I'm a strong believer that perfection doesn't exist. However, proximity to perfection does, and it's infinite, right? So what do I mean by perfect practice? By perfect practice, I don't only mean, practicing on a daily basis, that skill that you're developing, that skill that you're learning, and just practicing and practicing and practicing it, right? By perfect practice, I also mean, being conscious of that improvement that you have to make, and that you need to make, and being conscious of the things that you really have to work on in order to make better videos, for example, in this particular case, right? So being conscious of that and applying, that improvement to that practice, to that daily practice. Because if you keep on practicing and practicing without applying any type of improvement, then you're just making the same mistakes without improving, without finding solutions. You're making the same, you're tripping with the exact same rock that's on the road, right? And you just don't improve on what you do on a daily basis, and that's not perfect practice. Perfect practice is practicing on a daily basis, taking into account the improvements that you can make and applying those improvements, based on the experience that you gain as you go on day by day with that practice of that skill that you're learning, right, and you're mastering. So that's step number 2. Well, a quick example. I'm I practiced karate ever since I was 8 years old, and a couple of years I had to stop for a couple of years for different reasons. I remember I had to stop for like about 2 years because I injured my leg, my right leg. Then I remember that, well, my right knee specifically. Then I remember that I had to stop, well, because of this whole pandemic situation for a while. And it's natural that, you know, as years go by and as we get older, we're not that agile anymore, right? So I lost a bit of flexibility, but you know, ever since I went back to karate, I've been working every single day and constantly improving my flexibility, right? You know, stretching, doing stretching exercises, you know, pushing a bit further and further and further those exercises in order to improve, because it makes no sense that, you know, I always like stretch to where I can stretch and, you know, reach my limit and that's it, and not get past that. Why? Because I'm going to get stuck in, I'm going to, you know, stay stuck in the same place if I don't apply the improvements, if I'm not conscious of the improvements that I need to make, and if I don't apply them, right? So that's basically the idea with step 2, with perfect practice, right? Step 3 would be, well, yeah, step number 3 is, write, you know, you want to make a plan, you want to write down what you're going to say, you know, you want to write a script. You know, behind every great video, there's a great plan, right? You want to write down the things that you're going to be covering and rehearse them, right? This is going to not only increase your confidence, but also boost your, it's also going to boost your, wait, I forgot the word. It's going to boost your, damn it, wait a second. Give me 1 second, guys. I forgot the word. Well, when I remember it, I'll tell you, but it's going to boost, it's going to increase your confidence, right? It's going to increase your confidence, and, you know, it's going to make you feel much more secure when you're talking about a certain topic, when you're covering a certain, well, when you're teaching something, or when you're covering a certain topic, right? So it's extremely important. Now, it's something very important that you want to remember, take into account. A script is just is like a map that gives us a general idea of where to go, but we are the ones who choose the routes that we want to follow, right? You know, a map gives us our starting point and our destination, but we decide which paths to take. You know, it gives us an idea of where to go and how to get there, but like I said, you are the one who defines really how to get there. The map is just a guide, you know. It's not, a script is not written on stone. So take that into account, you know. Like I said, a plan before, you know, planning your video is extremely worth it, you know, extremely worth the time and the effort, because you're going to come up with better content, and you're going to come up with a clearer and more coherent message, right? So that's step number 3. Step number 4 would be you want to grasp the essence of your content. You know, this is related to what I just mentioned, that, you know, the script is not written on stone. You want to be able to, you know, understand and really feel, well, understand what you're going to be communicating and the message that you're going to be transmitting through your video, right? Like I said, you don't have to you don't have to learn by heart the script that you write. You don't have to remember, you know, you don't have to memorize it word by word, and, you know, just be pressured and stressed that that everything has to go perfect and that you have to say things as they are, right? No, I mean, like I said, a script gives us a general idea of where we want to go and what is it that we want to communicate. But it's not written on stone. It's not written on stone, and it's something that we can, you know, improvise and change, and, you know, and try new things. You know, there's always some room from improvisation. There's always some room for improvisation. There's always some room, you know, to give it, you know, to give your own personal touch and get your feelings and emotions in the mix. That not only is going to make you look and feel more natural, but it's also going to make your audience love you, right? Because again, and like I've said in a couple of my past videos, you know, humans relate with other humans. You know, people relate with other people in the sense that nobody, like I said, perfection doesn't exist. Perfection doesn't exist, and people can tell if you're, saying something, if you're either reading something out loud or saying something by memory, because it's obvious that it's not coming from you. It's not in your own words, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with memorizing some parts, or for example, if I'm going to say a quote, memorizing that quote, that's okay. That's all right. But the thing is that it doesn't matter if, for example, if you make, well, right now actually I made a small mistake when I didn't remember that word that I wanted to tell you guys, and still I don't remember it, but I carry on. That's the thing. I just carried on with what I was saying, and boom, and that's all right. And that's the thing. It makes it natural. It makes it natural because, let's be honest, like I said, we're humans. We make mistakes all the time. Sometimes we might forget what we were going to say, and we have to go with it. We have to play along with that, because people are going to relate with us more with that. People are going to relate with us because they also make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes, and they're going to say, this guy's really authentic. This guy's natural. He's not reading anything out loud. He's not just memorizing something and just talking with that. Because if I did memorize what I'm saying right now, what I'm saying in my videos, it would be like hearing a robot speak. It just makes no sense, right? You wouldn't feel that connection. You wouldn't feel that naturality that you might be feeling if I speak in my own words, and if I do make mistakes, because like I said, perfection doesn't exist. So it's completely fine not sticking to that. You just need to grasp the essence of your content. You of course need to know what you're talking about. You need to remember, the points that you're going to be mentioning, and you can give some space to improvisation, because improvising is good, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that, right? That was step number 4. And the 5th and final step is you want to slow down, right? Napoleon used to say, I really liked this quote from his. He used to say, dress me slowly, I'm in a hurry, right? So what he meant by that is that, well, and he actually that quote makes reference to the 3 P's, which are patience, passion, and it was patience, passion, wait a second, I forgot the 3rd P. It was patience, passion, and purpose. Patience, passion, and purpose, right? So what he means by that is, that it's important to slow down, do things right, take the time, do things right in order to just, communicate what you're going to communicate. And well, he's not talking about communication or video content in this quote, but what he basically means in general terms is that you want to take your time and do things right, and do things as good as possible, and really take the time to plan, really take the time to do things in order to do things correctly and keep on advancing. Because if you do things in a rush and just ramble your way through and just talk super quickly, super fast, and you can barely keep up with what you're saying, it makes no sense. You want to take your time, you want to talk slowly, and also by talking slowly, and very important, making certain pauses, it communicates confidence. It makes your audience perceive you as someone who really knows what he or she's talking about. And like I said, it gives really a lot of security and confidence to yourself. It really gives, it gives coherence. It gives, it gives sense to the things that you're saying. So it's all right to slow down, like he used to say, dress me slowly, I'm in a hurry, right? In other words, do things right, and do them properly from the very first time, so you don't have to go back and redo them again and waste your time. That's the thing, and that's where the purpose, patience, and passion comes in. You want to be patient when you're doing something. You want to be patient because you want to communicate the passion and the best way in order to define and communicate your purpose in the clearest way possible, right? So guys, that's been it for today's video. Hope you liked it, hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, in a quick summary over here, I'm going to be putting over here. The 5 steps you want to follow in order to overcome camera shyness are: step number 1, recognize that it's completely normal to feel uncomfortable when talking in front or to a camera. Step number 2, perfect practice makes almost perfect. Step number 3, write what you're going to say, write a script. Step number 4, grasp the essence of your content, extremely important. And 5th and final step, slow down. Slow down, because that's going to give you that certainty, which was the word that I forgot, that I just remembered, right? That certainty when you're talking, when you're speaking to your audience, is going to give you that confidence and that security, right? So guys, that's been it for today's video. Hope you liked it, hope you enjoyed it. If you did, guys, feel free to join my free Facebook group. It's a private group that I'm creating, right? The link is in the description below, where I basically give tips, tricks, related to starting an online business from scratch, as well as scaling your current online business. I really get into certain topics and things. So if you're interested and want to learn more, that you can join it, right? So guys, that's been it for today. Take care and keep on hustling.